Hello. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, okay? We're going to get a little mental healthy in this episode. And I want to talk to y'all before we get into it about BetterHelp. It is online therapy that will assess your needs and can match you with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. I have used them before when life got a little rough patchy, when I was like, oh boy, waking up is a nightmare. Talking to someone very much helped. And even if you think you don't need to talk to someone, I'm very much like that. I'm very much in my own head, and I'm like, I can deal with anything. No, talk to someone, please. I'm begging you. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online, available to people worldwide. You can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, so you don't even have to be on camera if you don't want to. And getting therapy every week is as easy as a few clicks on your laptop or phone. Y'all have seen that one Euphoria episode where she's like on the therapist's couch? That I can't do. I could not go to a place for therapy. I need to be in my bed ready to talk about my feelings. And BetterHelp is perfect for that. And they have a special offer for my listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/dramamama. That's 10% off your first month of online therapy at BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/dramamama. Okay, let's begin the episode. Ugh. We're getting right into it, y'all. We are getting right into it. We have no time. We have no time for, hey, mamas, welcome back. No, we're getting right into the topic today because I've been waiting to talk about this one. Faking mental illnesses. Romanticizing mental illnesses. Using mental illnesses as a trend. Today, I was prompted to do this. I got the idea to make this the topic for today to talk about because I have seen some TikToks over the past few months that have actually made my brain liquefy and leak out of my ears. I don't know if y'all have seen this. A few of them got pretty big on TikTok, blew up a little bit. The caption will say something stupid like, when my ADHD kicks in, and it'll be them doing a TikTok dance, and they're halfway through, and then they kind of look distracted all of a sudden. Which, getting distracted is a typical thing that happens with ADHD. However, I'm one of the most gullible people ever. I believe pretty much anything. I could watch the Kardashians and be like, whoa, this was like a documentary. This was so real. This was so raw. But I would see these videos and be like, oh my God, what is this? It is the most fake, most bastardized caricature of someone with ADHD and how someone with ADHD behaves that is put on in these videos. So they'll be dancing and then they'll kind of look off to the side and make a face and be like, ah, and start grabbing at the sky and doing all these. It's crazy, y'all. It's really insane. And all the comments will be like, what are you doing? One, this is not how people with ADHD actually act. Two, what? Three, what? And of course they delete the video. All three times I've seen this, they've deleted the video because they realize literally what are you doing? And I wanted to quickly talk about, first let's start with this kind of ADHD trend. So I don't know what ADHD classifies as. Attention deficit something disorder. Look at that. Just found that out in the depths of my brain. I feel like it's one of the most overused, misused terms out of any kind of thing that could be wrong with your brain. This is up there with OCD. So what I mean is you could literally be the most neurotypical person ever, not have a single brain cell tilted in your whole head, and people will be like, I forgot my keys at home. I'm so ADHD. Or tune out in a conversation and be like, I'm so ADHD. And I'm guilty of this. I've definitely said it in the past. I've definitely been like, I think I'm ADHD, blah, 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 blah. Now, listen, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD. I'm not self-diagnosing myself with ADHD, but I probably need to see a psychiatrist because genuinely, I've looked at every single one of the symptoms, and let me tell you, I'm Cinderella, and the shoe fits. So, listen. Here's the thing. I had a friend that very much, more than likely has ADHD, and he's in Canada. And he was trying to get diagnosed with it so he can get meds, because it is something that you can be medicated for. I don't know how well the meds work or anything, but it's something that you can do. It's something that you can like take action on. So he was gonna get diagnosed so he could get meds and everything. And in Canada, where there's supposedly free healthcare, to go through the whole process, to get the test, to speak to a psychiatrist, I don't know. Dude. Guess how much it costs? $2? No. $20? No. $200? No. $222? $2,000 to get the test, to get the psychology, whatever you call it. That's crazy. That is insane. I'm so sorry. Especially for to figure out a condition that does not require blood work or anything like that. I don't think you need to get a brain scan or anything. There's no reason why that should cost that much. So on one hand, when we get into this, I realize a lot of these people making these videos saying like, when my ADHD kicks in, may have ADHD, and some people might not, and some people might not know. Because it is literally expensive and it is ridiculous. Like, if it's that much in Canada to get diagnosed with ADHD, I cannot imagine how much it costs in the US or other places. So, I'm not trying to, what is the word? I'm not trying to delegitimize anyone's experience. I'm simply talking about people that use mental illness or disorders, or anything that makes you non-neurotypical for their own gain, or to be quirky, or to be trendy. If you are fully ADHD, or you have the right to make jokes about the condition that you have, that you know you have, fine. And I realize it's very much a gray area. Like, if you're someone who very much probably has ADHD and you just aren't diagnosed yet, like, it's kind of a gray area. Like, can you joke about it? Like, you don't officially have the psychologist note saying, hey, this person has ADHD, but who knows? So that's where it's kind of hard to tell, and it's kind of hard to criticize when people make TikToks like that. But overall, I think it's just not right. Like, back to the ADHD, when my ADHD kicks in TikToks, I think it's not right, like, regardless, as any person, to just, like, make a caricature of someone with that condition. Like, even if you have ADHD, to, like, make it this, like, big cartoony, like, whoa, my ADHD kicked in. Like, it's, like, some, like, superpower, like, goofy. That's goofy. I'm so sorry, but that's goofy. Like, and the thing is, like, ADHD has almost become like a verb, in that anytime someone gets distracted, they'll be like, oh my God, my ADHD kicked in. I'm sweating so much. That is just going to be the reality of this podcast throughout the summer, because I filmed this in the garage where there is no AC. So expect a lot of drippy, wet Ben. Ignore that. Ignore that I just said that horrible sentence. So, I had a train of thought, but I lost it. Let's talk about some other mental illnesses that are kind of misused. Whether it's for clout or a trend or to be quirky. I think the root of it all comes down to, some people Some people genuinely just have nothing that sets them apart. And this was like me for a long period. And it's not necessarily true. Like, you might think you have nothing that sets you apart from other people, nothing that makes you special. And I think that this is the root of a lot of just wild behavior that people have, some wild choices that they make, is they want to stand out. They want to be different. I have dealt with this before too. I've like tried to find so many interesting ways to like stand out. I mean, YouTube was one way. I was like, I'm gonna become popular online and then show all my middle school bullies that I am cool. And then like my channel got like 3 views while I was in middle school. But I think that the reason why a lot of people will fake a mental illness is so that they can maybe get sympathy or maybe feel part of a community, or so that they can feel pitied or something. And you might think, well, I don't know why you would think this, but if you think, okay, what is the harm in that? They aren't harming anyone else. Okay, interesting point. Interesting theoretical point. Let's examine why, first of all, why it is bad to just say you have a mental illness or a disorder or something like that. Because there's real people out there with the disorders. And you cannot speak on things that you are not. And also, even if... What am I trying to say here? I just got so... I just got so angry for no reason. If you're say you're pretending you have... What's one? I'm trying to think of one that I always see being faked. There was that one girl who was like pretending that they had a mental illness. This was multiple people that did this. They would pretend they had like I believe it was multiple personality disorders, and they had like their alters, which was, I guess, their like different personalities that lived within their mind, and they could shift to different ones, which is a real thing. I believe it's multiple personality disorder, where you can have multiple like personalities. Have y'all seen the movie Split? That's a very bad like example, but that's the only one that's coming to my mind. That's actually a horrible example. That is the worst example now that I think of it. Do not think of the movie Split. You can live a very happy life with multiple personalities. You are not going to turn into the little demon that he turns to at the end of the movie and crawl on walls. Forget I ever used that example. Anyways, pretend you have that, and you make a whole TikTok account where you're making videos, pretending to like shift these different alters, as these people did on TikTok. I think this was like a year ago. That is harmful because you don't fully know what it's like to have multiple personality disorder. So you're literally you're freestyling it, baby. You're literally just doing like what you think someone with multiple personality disorder would have, which is so dangerous because you are taking away from the actual struggles that these people actually deal with every single day. If not making it seem like it's like some people will fake a mental illness and make it like seem quirky. Another one is people will fake, I don't know if this counts as a disorder, but people will fake Tourette'S. I've seen like content creators get busted for that before. That is a real interesting one when they try that, because Tourette's, I'm not the most educated on it, but I believe it's when you involuntarily will say certain words, make certain sounds, have tics. I'm not sure if tics is its own symptom or is a symptom or its own thing, but people will fake it and kind of act like it's this quirky thing. So they'll say words at maybe an inappropriate word at a certain time to like be cute or funny or something. At least I think that's what they're going for. Meanwhile, it's like an actual extremely difficult thing to live with. From what I've heard, I have a few friends who have dealt with tics and one who actually has Tourette's. Not the funnest thing. It's not, you could, if you have Tourette's and you make light of it, you can, and you have it, you can make light of it, make jokes at your own expense. But it blows my mind that there's just people that are fully faking it. And then they get called out. And a lot of the time it's by people who actually who deal with these things and struggle with Tourette's and stuff. And they get called out and they double down and they're like, I'm not faking it. I would never do that. It's so crazy. I need to like gather my thoughts and also wipe this one off my face. We'll get into this after this quick break. So this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, but I literally just remembered that my therapist on BetterHelp, she was such a sweetheart, but she literally like asked me if I had ADHD. Like on the first call, she was like, do you have ADHD? And I was like, I don't know. And then we were like kind of discussing it, and she gave me a lot of clarity about that. And she did say you should probably go talk to a person who can diagnose you with that. And I just never did. I never got around to it. But beyond that, she was amazing. And I have had such a good experience with BetterHelp. In general, it's just very nice to have someone to talk to for whatever you are dealing with in the whole flurry of mental health, whatever comes your way. It's nice to be able to have someone to help you process it at the end of every week. Listen, life is full of twists and turns, but it's important to show up for yourself through it all, okay? Now, BetterHelp is online therapy. They assess your needs and can match you with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. A lot of other therapists will not be that fast. The way it can take like weeks to talk to someone. It's crazy. BetterHelp is super good for being quick with it. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online, available to people worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Antarctica and be like, these penguins are literally ruining my mental health. And then you could talk to someone if you have internet in Antarctica. With therapy, it can take a few tries to find the right fit for you. BetterHelp makes it easy and free to change therapists if needed. So keep that in mind. And they have a special offer for my listeners. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/dramamama. That's 10% off your first month of online therapy at betterhelp.com/dramamama. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Let's continue. Okay, I'm back. So when I was wiping my face, a thought came to my mind. And I was just really trying to think about why people do this. Like, there has to be a reason. And back to kind of me talking about people wanting to stand out and choosing to fake a mental illness as a means of doing that. I think that, this wasn't something, at least as far as I know, that like really happened in like older generations. This is very much a Gen Z thing, a Gen Z classic exclusive. So I love that for our generation. But I believe it comes from a place of wanting attention. I know a lot of people are kind of torn on, like, have different preferences. Some people love being pitied over. They love having people be like, oh, you poor thing. And other people hate it. I'm like, I don't really like it. I don't like when people like pity me. Like, I'm my own person. I can handle myself. I don't really like pity. But some people do. And I genuinely think that's a huge kind of reason why some people will fake a mental illness, because especially the ones that are like faking it online and making like content and stuff, because they might feel validated when someone's like, oh my gosh, you poor thing, or like, this must be so hard to live with, when they literally don't even live with it. And it's I can't like stress how harmful It is because then when we have people faking mental illnesses and it gets debunked, that might lead other people to start to question people who genuinely have these mental illnesses and question if they're legitimate. That's why I'm not like trying to name any names for like the people that I mentioned for like the ADHD video, because like, I mean, as I said, even if they do have it, it's still kind of a corny video to make, but like, you never know. Someone could genuinely have it, but it's without a doubt. We can all agree it's without a doubt that people are faking mental illnesses online. Like, countless big creators have been kind of exposed for this. So it blows my mind. It really does. I do need to get an ADHD diagnosis. So like, we just know. I feel like it was really crazy because I at my tour, I had someone come up to me and say that they also had ADHD. And I was like, also have ADHD? When did I say that I have ADHD? And I realized I definitely have said in the past, in passing, being like, oh my gosh, I'm so ADHD. And not even like had a second thought, being like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm like fully just saying that I have a whole disorder as like a quirky little thing to say in passing. And I'm looking back on that and cringing. I'm like, oh my God, like what is wrong with me? So I'm glad I like never like tried to make it like part of my identity or anything. And like, who knows, even if I do have it or not. But I was like, whoa, like that really made me, really gave me some pause. And I do think I've matured since then. But like, goodness gracious, it's really crazy, like how just saying something in passing like that can make people, especially if you're like someone with a platform like me just saying that can make people think that that I have ADHD. And I know I just said like I probably do have it. Like, should we go, you know what? Let's just go through the symptoms. Let's just do a little self-diagnosis right here. I want to see, I'll tell y'all which ones I have and which ones I don't. ADHD. And I kind of know already because my best friend has ADHD and I have seen her in her natural environment for like 5 years. So I very much kind of know like what it is. And a lot of the time I'll be like, that's hitting a little close to home. Okay, here we go. Behavioral aggression. Not really. Fidgeting. I cannot sit still ever. My room is filled with fidget toys. Hyperactivity. I actually don't know what that means. I'm guessing like hyper, when you're hyper. Yes, I get that. Impulsivity. I don't think I'm that impulsive. I get impulses, but I don't act on them. I usually use my brain a little bit. Irritability. Let's see. I get irritated quite easily, I will say. Kind of embarrassing, but yeah. Lack of restraint, not really. Persistent repetition of words or actions. Yeah. When I'm like nervous, or even when I'm filming this podcast when I'm not even nervous, the way I will just like repeat the same word or even just sentences, it's really bad. Okay, so those behavioral things. Cognitive. Absent-mindedness. My brain is empty 90% of the time, so I would say yes. Difficulty focusing. Hi. If y'all saw all the extra takes that I have of every podcast episode just because I lose my train of thought, or literally the ones that do make it, I'm like, just lost my train of thought, but we're going to keep going because I've recorded it 4 times. Forgetfulness. I was booking a flight for my mom because I wanted to bring her on a little vacation. The way I had to ask her what day she was born, her birthday. But even just day-to-day things. I don't know what I had for breakfast. I know I ordered something. I don't know what it was. Forgetfulness is probably, like, out of all the things I've said, forgetfulness has to be, like, the biggest one. I can't stress out how forgetful I am. It's really insane. Problem paying attention. Yes. Short attention span. I am such a Stranger Things fan. And the last 2 episodes took me 4 days to watch. And I must have paused it 5 times each per episode. And I love Stranger Things. So, like, I can't sit down and watch. I can't watch TV. Like, I genuinely can't watch TV. Movies I can do because I know it's going to end and there won't be anything more. But my attention span is so dead, y'all. And you know what? Maybe that's partly TikTok, but mood, anger, not really. Anxiety, yup, check that one. Check the box. Boredom, not so much, but I used to really get bored, and then I just managed to fill it with TikTok and other brain-numbing things. Excitement or mood swings? I don't think I get mood swings. I get excited, but that's kind of a random thing. I don't know why it's on there. Like, you're excited about something, you must have ADHD. Depression or learning disability? Let's not get too deep into it, but depression maybe. So, and even though I said all these things, there's a good chance I don't even have ADHD. Like, those, obviously, like, I don't want y'all to, like, hear all these words and be like, I've experienced one of these. I must have ADHD. Like, they're very kind of, like, general symptoms, but, like I'm, like, the shoe fits, yo. And if you've watched my videos, you've heard me talk on my podcasts, like, I'm kind of all over the place sometimes. So, and it's the main ones that I really struggle with. Like, no attention span, forgetfulness. Those are, like, actually ruin my life. Like, if it was just, like, me forgetting something occasionally, like, I would not be, like, literally going through the symptoms with y'all on this podcast. But it's, like, genuinely, like, life-ruining how forgetful I am and how hard it is for me to focus and how much I procrastinate. Like, I'll have full days of the week gone just because I cannot concentrate while editing a YouTube video, and then I, like, have to keep pushing it back and back and back because I can't focus on it. And during school, I would always be, like, literally needing to fidget with something. All my, like, pieces of paper and my notebooks had doodles. Like, I literally don't think once that I've ever just sat down in a class, stared at the teacher, and, like, listened for the whole, like, class and, like, not had to just go insane. I've always been terrible with, like, my phone. Like, that, I swear I was, like, one of the first phone addicted people because, like, it would be 1 second of, like, dead air in the classroom. I'd be, like, literally whipping up my phone to play, like, whatever game I had on there. So I wouldn't be telling y'all this if I, like, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, like, think it's a possibility that I have it. But I still just feel really bad that, like, in the past I've been like, oh, I forgot this. I'm ADHD. Because now I see how harmful that is. And, like, it gives people, like, a false idea of what ADHD is. Now, mind you, I'm not out here doing TikTok dances and then, like, going and looking into the sky and, like, oh my God, I wish I could, like, insert the video, but then I'd be exposing the person. But, like, the video, it's insane. It's an insane video. It's really crazy. So I think, it may be $2,000 to get diagnosed, but I think I will do that one day, eventually. It would very much, I think, help me. Whether I get medicated or not, to at least know. I mean, I do want to be medicated. If I could take away all of those things that I experience, the forgetfulness, the inability to focus, if I could take it away, I would pay $20,000 for it because it genuinely, like, ruins my life. Also, I just love that I'm sweating so much that my hair is literally wet. I love that this is probably the ugliest that I have ever looked in my life. And I have a big pimple that I popped right before this episode, just going on my lip, you know? So, the thing is, if I do, I always like kind of thought in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, I should go get diagnosed with ADHD and like vlog it or something. But I was like, no. I think it's something that I would want to keep private. Not saying that if you have ADHD, do not tell anyone, keep it private. But I think that discourse about like disorders and mental illness and just not being neurotypical in general has become such a issue on TikTok just because there's so many people faking it. And it's just brutal. It really is brutal. And I know I mentioned like some kind of more common, disorders and stuff, but there's people faking really gnarly mental illnesses. Some real, like, not saying that like these ones aren't like can't ruin your life, but like some really like tough, difficult ones that are like tough for the person that has them, tough for the people around them. And they're just faking those too. It's really like an epidemic on TikTok that people are just doing this and thinking it's okay. It blows my mind. And I've witnessed this for so long. I've had so many friends, more acquaintances in like middle school and high school that would do this in person. And it was so weird to me. Like I had a friend that came up to me and literally like listed off 7 different mental illnesses that she had. And I was supportive because like I didn't know what they were. And so like I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm here for you. Like if there's anything I can do, let me know. And then like years later, she told me that she was like faking them all. And I was like, okay, like that kind of became obvious, but like why? And she's like, I think I just had that problem with like needing like attention. I was like, okay, great. And that's like one thing that's like very little harm, but it's like people that are faking it online for like huge audiences blows my mind. This was very like surface level of this topic. If y'all want me to do it, like talk about this again using like specific examples of people doing this, just like airing people out who are faking them and got caught faking them, let me know. And with that all being said, I hope you have a good day. Love you very much. I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. End of the week. It's Joe.